Stop watching porn! All right? Good afternoon, gentlemen and perhaps ladies. But anyway, I'm gonna get right down to business here. Talking about consistency. I talked recently about consistency. Guess what? I'm gonna talk again about consistency because consistency is something that we need to be very consistent about. Does that make sense to you? I hope so. Anyhow, what does that mean in the context of quitting porn? Let's talk very, very specifically about that for a little while here. All right? Consistency in this context doesn't mean just knowing all the right stuff. It doesn't mean just always believing that it's bad to watch porn. And it doesn't mean just always wanting to quit porn. This is not it. Of course, we all, in our minds, there's a consistency in that we know that porn is bad and that we want to quit porn and that we don't want to make this part of our life. Yes, all of this we can agree to in our heads. But it's not just enough to know the right things. Consistency is not just about consistent beliefs. It's not just about consistent knowledge. It's not even just about consistent growth. Consistency means the consistent application of the lessons that you have learned. All right? And it means the consistent, unyielding, relentless holding to certain standards for your behavior and for how you approach this issue. All right? So in other words, you can't just act however you feel like. You can't just say, well, I don't need such and such precaution anymore. Common example, all right? Let's say that you get your, in the past, you've gotten your pornography off of the 4chans. The boards.4chan.org/whatever. And that has been a fairly regular source of porn for you in the past. But then the day came when you swore off of porn for good and you decided no more. And then you relapsed a few times and then all that mess. And then you realize something. You're like, you know what? I need to stop going on 4chan. Yes, there's legitimate stuff on 4chan that isn't pornography. Sure. But you've recognized a pattern here. You recognize every time I go to 4chan, it always seems to lead to this. It always seems like the first step in that temptation. So you decide, all right, no more 4chan. I can live without it. That's cool. And so you make that decision. You set up that boundary for yourself. And then later on, you've got a good streak going on. You're 3 weeks in, you're 4 weeks in, and you're like, you know what? I'm curious about whether such and such board has such and such type of thread going on, which is totally legitimate and non-pornographic. So, you know what? Maybe I can visit there. I'm not going to watch porn, of course, but I'm going to visit that board. I'm going to visit that website because that's not, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. It's not going to, it's not going to sneak up on me. I know what to expect. I know what I'm up against here. No, you do not. All right. And I will tell you, I myself, Eyebrow Hashafat, have relapsed many, many times on account of that mode of thinking. Thankfully, not in the last, year and a half or so, but how do you achieve this? How do you consistently win? How do you go a year and a half without watching pornography? Well, that means consistent application of the lessons you have learned. Not only consistently deciding, yeah, I don't want to watch porn anymore, but consistent application of the lessons you've learned, consistent maintenance of those barriers that you've created to protect yourself, to protect your streak, to protect your purity. All of this stuff is still necessary, okay? And I say all the time, I'm not above anything, okay? Everything that I tell you guys is still stuff that I apply to myself day to day, all the time, all right? So it's not like you reach a point where you're like, oh yeah, I'm 6 months in, I'm a year in, whatever. I don't have to be careful anymore. I can go to whatever website I want to, go wherever I want, and then I'll just, shut everything off. And then, I'll only go there for the legitimate stuff, the clean stuff, the non-pornographic stuff, and I'll just ignore all the pornography, and I can just, expose myself to all this kind of temptation and not expect to have any problems. No, we are human, and your sex drive, let me tell you what, your sex drive is not going away. I am just as strict with myself today as I was in the beginning, if not more so even, because I've had some pretty severe temptations, within the last few months that were more severe than the ones that I had before. So, this consistency, again, this does not mean just a consistent belief. This means consistent application of everything that you have learned, all right? Don't cut yourself a break. Don't, let yourself relax or take it easy or anything like that. Don't, lower your defenses. Don't lower the standards for your filters or anything like that. Don't allow yourself to tread back on that same path that you've been on so many times before, thinking that this time it'll be different. You want to know how to make it different? Walk on a different path, all right? That's the only sure way to do it, all right? So, that is my message about consistency today. Consistent application of all this kind of stuff. Behaving now, today, in a way that is consistent with the way you were behaving. Let's take right after a relapse as an example. Right after a relapse, when you get back on the wagon and you're like, I'm going to stay as far away from this stuff as I can. I don't want that. I want to stay over here. I want to stay over here where there's not going to be the same kind of temptation. Basically where I'm not going to expose myself to a bad situation that I've been in before. All right. And you want to behave in a way that is consistent with that. You don't want to stretch your boundaries or anything like that. All right. Does that make sense to you? I hope so, because that is what I am living. That is what I do. That is what works. So maintain that consistency. Behave in a way that is consistent with the behaviors that have worked for you. All right. So if that means not going to this particular website, don't go to that particular website. Even if you feel like you can handle it, if that's what it took before, you should be assuming that that's what it's going to take now. All right. So let's do it. Let's be consistent, not only in our thoughts, but in our actions, in every single aspect of this. Consistently hold, sorry, I'm cracking up a little bit. I lost my voice. Consistently hold to the lessons that you have learned. Consistently hold to the decisions that you have made that have set you up for success in the past, okay? Let's do this thing. Let's quit pornography for good. Let's just be done with this thing. Let's be consistent about that. Let's be consistent about never watching this trash again in our entire lives. Because it's possible. You can get out of this no matter where you're coming from, no matter where you're at right now. You can get out of this, and you will if you're serious. All right? And if you're consistent. Let's do it. Y'all have a lovely day. God bless you guys. Couple announcements. Haha. I'm going to highlight these again because I don't think I have lately. Discord group. There's a link in the description. Brother Schramm set that up a while ago. It's great. It's awesome. I love it. It's activity every single day. It's awesome. Get in there. We'll keep each other accountable. All that good stuff. Subscribe to this Subscribe to this cheerful channel. Stop watching porn. Great. Keep an eye out for new videos and stuff. I got more stuff going on. If you want to know more stuff about how to quit porn and my journey and all that kind of stuff, and you're not familiar with it already, then check out the rest of my channel. Tons of more videos on there. So have yourself a look-see at that good stuff. And that's it. This is Bro Hoshaphat speaking to you. And I'll talk to y'all later. Have a lovely day. God bless you guys. Take it easy, but not too easy. And I will see you.